Hey there, fellow classic comic collectors. As always, I'm Scott Harris King, and today you'll note that instead of being in my normal office surrounded by comics, I'm lying here on the couch of solitude. I just hurt my feet a little bit here, so they're a little bit worn out. I've got to do everything here lying down for a little bit. But I've got a bunch of comics to show you to you today. I've got some stuff off the Kickstarter. I also had a chance to go to my LCS, so I've got my pull list to show you. I don't get there very often. I don't have a very big pull list, but I did get a few cool things here. So I've got a smorgasbord of things to show you. Before I dive into the comics, I want to talk a little bit about comics. I've just got a few points of business here, just real quick. First of all, the Kickstarter for my Comic Quest is over. It ended on Friday, and we did successfully fund. So first of all, I want to thank everybody so much for all the support with that. Particularly want to thank my family. My wife, my father-in-law jumped in at the end of that campaign with some big pledges to get me over the line. So again, I just really want to thank everybody for that. I did want to mention real quick, the link is still down below. That's because Kickstarter has a new thing called late pledges. So even though the campaign's over, because it funded, there's now a button there called late pledges. You can still back as though the campaign were still active. So if you missed it the first time around, you can still go and get your copies now. And the campaign funded, so you definitely will get it once it's done. The other thing I wanted to mention real quick here is just about the channel in general, but something interesting that came out of all the videos I was putting out about my Kickstarter. I was sort of in desperation mode last week because we were getting right down to the end and I hadn't funded yet. So I posted a bunch of videos. I don't really like doing that. I like to keep the channel, I do obviously want to talk about the comics I'm making, but I want to keep most of the videos about the back issues and stuff. But last week I just had to put out a bunch of stuff. And one thing I've noticed is that the videos that I've put out about making comics have fewer views, which has been the case all along. And my assumption has been simply that people are less interested in those videos, which is totally fine. But when I was looking at the metrics, actually, the analytics for my videos on my channel last week when I was putting all this out, I realized that actually my click-through rate for those videos is basically the same as for the videos where I'm discussing the back issues. Which means that when people do see the video, just as many times, the percentage-wise, just as many people will click on the video for the videos about me making comics as about me collecting comics, right? And what that means is the reason that I'm getting so many fewer views on those videos isn't because you guys are less interested. It's because you're not seeing the videos. YouTube is not showing everybody or the same number of people those videos. YouTube is basically throttling, for whatever reason, the reach on those videos. They're just not reaching as many people, because if they were, they'd be getting just as many views. So anyway, I just want to mention that to those of you who may not have seen the previous videos. I have been posting these videos all along. So frankly, I don't really know how all of this works, but you know how when you watch these videos and people are say like and subscribe and hit the bell so you get the notifications? Well, whatever that stuff means, please go ahead and do that, because I am putting out videos that I know a lot of you want to see that you are not seeing because YouTube is not actually showing you all the videos I'm doing. So I just wanted to say, if you could go ahead and do that and make sure you don't miss the videos, that would be awesome. So now that that's out of the way, let's get right down to the comics. I'm going to start with the comics that I got off of Kickstarter. I actually got something that just came in today, and this is actually an anthology. It's called Phantasmagoria, an indie horror anthology. And I got all this bonus stuff that's falling out of the book here. But let me show you this first of all. So here's the regular cover. You can see my copy is signed here. And it's a great big, giant-sized square-bound edition. I'm not quite sure how many pages it is, but it feels like a good, maybe 80 pages. I'm not entirely sure. But you can see here from the regular cover, we got all these. It's an anthology of horror comics from indie creators. Now, I did get 2 copies of this. That's because What I really wanted was this variant cover, and you could only get this if you got the set of both of them. And that's this here. As you can see, it's an homage to Tomb of Dracula number 10, first appearance of Blade, only this one is starring this frog guy who's called Goop Monster Slayer. The guy who is running this is a friend of mine who has done a bunch of stuff on Kickstarter, and wanted to actually, now that I'm looking inside, there's a number of people in here that I know, who I've cross promoted with, who backed my comics and stuff like that. And so I wanted to make sure that I supported this. Specifically, though, CL Zeno is the one who did this, and he's been a big supporter of my comics. And the Goop Monster Slayer is his story. And so he did this cool variant cover. So I wanted to make sure I got this. Now, as you guys know, I don't like horror as a genre. I mean, I love horror comics because I love comics, and they have so many of them have like great covers and great art and stuff like that. But I actually don't like reading horror stuff. So what's going to end up happening is I'm definitely going to keep this because this is the one that I wanted. But since now I have 2 copies, one of you lucky people is going to get the other one. It'll be a great introduction to a lot of indie sort of self-published passionate creators, since it's an anthology. Next time I do a giveaway, I'm going to include the other copy of it that in the mystery box, so you can look forward to that. So really cool. Again, there's a number of creators in there that I've cross-promoted with, or that have backed my books, or vice versa, but in particular want to give a shout out there to CL Zeno. Now, of course, I've talked a lot about this, so you've seen plenty of times. I've done whole videos about Miskatonic High, but the new issue here, 23, back to school. So they're starting a new semester, a new school year. We got new students, new mysteries here at Miskatonic High, which I think most of you. The one thing that's great about this, it's very elegant. Just from the title, you know exactly what the comic is. So it's a group of high school students at Miskatonic High, which is, of course, the high school next to Miskatonic University, which is from Lovecraft. So there's all these Lovecraftian monsters, as you can, again, see right here on the cover. And Mike Shea and Ryan Mendoza do this, and, you know, they're just doing a great job. The series has been coming out, I guess, for about 6 years now. They're here on issue 23. They just put them out like clockwork, and it's really, really cool. So I've already read it. We've got a complete run of that, so that's a cool series. And it's fitting that I got this just at the same time I did my pull list, because honestly, these days I only have 2 comics and 1 magazine on my pull list. That's it. And most of the stuff I get is from Kickstarter, and so Miskatonic High is basically like my pull list. I get it every time it comes out. But here's my actual pull list. So I got to the comic store. That's Entertainment, my LCS. It's not actually local to me anymore, but you know, I don't want to change after over 30 years with them. I want to stick with them. So every few months I manage to get to Worcester and pick these books up. And here's one of my favorite series going on, obviously, considering it's one of the only 2 books that I have on my pull list. And here we are. It's Santos Sisters number 6. So this is a series, obviously, is drawn like classic Archie comics, and the whole thing is done up like classic Archie comics, but with sort of a snarky, subversive humor. The main characters are superheroes, so there's also sort of a superhero sort of satire. So it's got a lot of stuff going on that I really like. I love the art, and just the feel of the books is this feels like it's actually printed on newsprint. So it's just got the look and the feel of the classic Archie comics, and they're funny as well. So I love to read those. And you know, 7 issues now coming out. I'm still missing a couple. I was just thinking the other day, I've got to get on eBay. I'm missing 2 issues of this, issue 1 and issue 3. I think I'm missing. So I've got to track those down. And also from a design perspective, I love big numbers on my comics. So these have some really big numbers, which I very much appreciate because I love the big numbers. On the complete other side of the spectrum is little tiny numbers. And that's because I've got 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 new issues of Usagi Yojimbo. So here we are, and this is issue 276. Now you can see it's got the little thing up here where it says The Crow, part 2 of 5, and then it says in parentheses UY number 276. I'm sorry about my camera, by the way. It's just really crappy. But so here's issue 276. And these are parts 2, 3, 4, and 5 of this 5-part story. 277. Of course, Stan Sakai, always great. This story brings back Gen, the bounty hunter who's the main character in the series. I haven't really seen in quite a long time. And this is a part of an ongoing storyline where Usagi's nephew is traveling with him, and he's sort of teaching him the ways as a young samurai. He's learning from Usagi. So these are great. It's just top quality, and of course, last issue here is that I have here is 279. So getting close to the 300 mark, getting real close to that. Getting close to matching and then surpassing the Dave Sim Cerberus. Now, there's a lot of Todd McFarlane made a big deal about when he passed Cerberus with Spawn to become the longest running in terms of issue numbers. Independent comic, which is absolutely true, but big difference is that Todd McFarlane didn't work on most of the issues of Spawn. You know, he hired people to do those, whereas Dave Sim did the writing and the art for all 300 issues of Cerberus, just like Stan Sakai has done all 279 issues, and counting Usagi Yojimbo. So it's a really impressive feat. Finally, I want to show Alter Ego. Now, I want to have a little discussion about Alter Ego here. Obviously, I love Alter Ego. It's a great resource, all the great interviews and everything like that. I am considering dropping it from my subscription only because, you know, when I used to be able to get to the comic store every month or every 2 months, I would, you know, pick up my subscription and there'd be one issue of Alter Ego. And they're very expensive. Regular cover price is $10.95, although there's a special here I'm going to show you, which I'm just about had to mortgage the house for. And so it was like, you know, when you're getting one a month, the expense doesn't seem that much, or one every 2 months. It doesn't seem that expensive, but also it's a very long, detailed read. And so, you know, it takes up quite a lot of time. But when I'm going every few months and I end up with like a bunch of issues here, like several at once, it's a lot of money, and it also feels like overwhelming just how long it's going to take to read these. And the result of this is that I've got 7, 8, 10 issues of Alter Ego at this point probably that I haven't read yet. They're just kind of piling up because there's just so much, and I'm so busy that I just don't have time. So I don't know. I love Alter Ego, but I don't know. I'm struggling a little bit with justifying continuing to get it, particularly because here for the 25th anniversary of Alter Ego, they did a giant size special, right? Which is great. I didn't actually realize that until I was checking out, but the price on this was $25. Don't get me wrong, it's like filled with great stuff. So this side is all Marvel interviews, and it's got the Avengers 141 cover. Yeah, that's right, 141. And then I don't know what issue number this is, but it's got the equivalent over here. For the when you flip the book over, it's DC interviews, and it's got the Justice League and the Justice Society. So it's a great package, and I've already read a couple of the interviews. One thing that's nice in here is a lot of short interviews. So um, it's, I mean, it's a great, great resource. It's so much, and it's so much money. I feel a little bit overwhelmed with it. But here's issue 188. And I've been buying this for so long now, I didn't even kind of realize. My first issue of Alter Ego, I think, was 106. So, like, it's been quite a long time. So that was 188. Here's 189, which is a John Romita special. Of course, he passed away last year, I think. It takes a while for them to catch up with the content on these tribute issues. And then here's 190, which is about Jungle Comics. I learned so much from these that I didn't know. On the flip side, I don't care about Jungle Comics, so I'm kind of like, well, that was $11 I could have bought comic books with, you know what I mean? So I don't know. For now, I'm going to keep it on my pull list. I'm going to try and catch up on the reading on these, but it's just a lot, you know. But that's it for this time. So I got all his alter egos, the Santos sisters. We got the Usagi Yojimbo, the Miskatonic High, and the Phantasmagoria with the variant cover. So it's a great haul for me this week. Again, I feel so relieved that my Kickstarter is over. It's just so much work. The Kickstarters, it's overwhelming amount of work, and it's very difficult, incredibly stressful to put so much work into it, and you come this close to failing. And I don't really like bombarding all of my social medias and my mailing list and everything with sort of, please, just begging people to back it for money. Like, it's really unpleasant. So next video, I might do a bonus video this week. So at the end of the week, I'm going to have another one of my complete run videos. Not sure if it's going to be the next Conan chapter, or I might get back to Avengers. I haven't decided yet. But anyway, I'm going to do one of those at the end of the week. But I might have a bonus video in the middle of the week, thinking about doing sort of a post-mortem on the Kickstarter campaign, because I've got a lot to sort of process. A lot of things didn't really work this time. The market's changing. I really struggled, and I've got to do some real thinking about what to change for next time. So you may see a bonus video for that. But again, I guess you're already subscribed probably for watching this, but hit the notification bell or whatever goes on, whatever you need to do, because once I post that video, you may not see it again. YouTube is kind of not showing a lot of my creator videos for whatever reason. So, yeah. But thank you all for the support. Let me know what you think of these down below, and I'll see you next time.